Let's Hunt is a video series with tactics, weapons, locations, and other useful tips, always around one particular animal. Hello hunters and welcome back to another Let's Hunt. Today we go after brown bear. So let's have a look at the map first. Let's have a look at the reindeer first. This is a good spot for reindeer, but hopefully I can cover that in another video. Right now I really wanted to show you my map. And look what's coming. Nice big one. So let's take this guy out so we can continue. Okay. Sorry about that interruption. This is really a good spot for reindeer, but let me show you my map. This is my Hemeldal map, and I have my tent up here. I start almost all of my hunts here. This is good for brown bear, reindeer, moose, roe deer. Only red fox you have to go a little further until you find them. And this is where my brown bear barrel is. We will go there, you will see where this is, and also have a tripod stand there. Okay, so let's get ready for the bear. You can shoot from here, or here you can shoot. You will not spook much, but as you go closer to the brown bear, you want to avoid shooting because you then will not find anything at the barrel. So I start here and I go to the barrel, which is about, it's more than 400 meters. There's a minimum distance of 400 meters from a starting point to be it the lodge or tent to a barrel. My tent is about 500 meters away. The timing works okay. When I go to the barrel, there will be bears around the barrel. There will be bears at the barrel. What I've seen so far is 6 or 7 bears in the area is not very uncommon. Of course, not every time, but there's usually a few. So here, when I start here, I start at 10 or 11. Depending on the time, I found different animals. I found that roe deer, moose are more around at 9, 10 o'clock. And then after 10 there is moose and reindeer often. Sometimes I start as late as 12 o'clock, that's fine too. For the bears it doesn't really make a big difference. You see moose there ahead of us. Sometimes you can see brown bears here as well. And when you start a hunt, there's usually 2 females together, sometimes a male with them. When you start a hunt, the bears will spawn in the area. A barrel increases the number of bears that spawn. If you are in a good place, and this is definitely a very good place, then you will have more bears spawn there. They have some time before you start. There is some time simulated where they walk around, they lay the tracks, they walk to the barrel and away again. So when you start, walk to the barrel, you will still see some big ones. And like with all the feeders, big animals will drive away small animals. They will always go there first. If you go there in a half an hour or an hour, you might find tracks from big ones, but usually you only find smaller animals. Now I don't want to spook her into the bear area. Yeah, you can stare at me, but then hopefully run away. And the bears are ahead of us here. From here, so I walk to here, to this hill, And from here I crouch because I will fairly soon find bears roaming around the barrel. Those are usually, not usually, those are always the smaller ones. I call them satellite bears because they circle around the barrel. They wait until the big ones leave. And when you spook them, they will run right into the barrel and spook everything else. So my goal is to go and make it to the tripod without spooking anything, so that I can spot what is at the barrel, because only looking at tracks will not be very educating. It tells you somewhat. It tells if there's large bears that might be worth going after, if there's small ones. So this one is a very small one, 120 to 170 kilograms. Very small bear, very typical satellite bear. There's one over here usually. You think it's random, but when you do this a couple of times, you find them in the same spots over and over. So we have to be careful here. Usually there's one sneaking around the tripod. The good thing here about this point is I can sneak up towards the barrel behind this hill here, behind this hump, and make it to the tripod. Once you reach the tripod, you're fairly safe. They don't really see you. They can even walk right by your tripod and not see you. There's another reindeer. Right here. I tell you, this is a good place for reindeer. Wow, even better score than the other one. So I'm tempted to go after this. But let's look at the bears first. The maximum kilogram of bears is 490. So anything below 400 you don't even want to bother with. So when I come here, I check out all the bears. I try to spot them. And after that, I go and check all the tracks around the barrel. You will see there is usually somewhere between 5 and 8 different bears that have laid tracks. So right now I don't see anything. What I'm going to do is I will lure the reindeer, because actually I could even shoot it. It doesn't matter. You can really spook the bears. It doesn't make a difference. So it seems I only have hit one lung or intestines. Now let's count the bears. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should also look at the weight, of course. See if there's any big one. 5. Oh, this one is decent. 6. So I'm just looking at the Hunter mate if it says it's a new track or a new trail. So it looks like we have 6 bears, or we have had 6 bears around here. There's number 7. Number 8. So we have quite a bit of distraction here from the reindeers. So I want to go find this one, pick it up. And here is my reindeer. Anything about 550 is good. This one is decent. I've started another hunt, this time at 11 o'clock. And again, when reaching this part where I get to go over the hill, I start crouching. Oftentimes there are the bears right beyond this hill. So I want to be careful. And again, the goal is to make it to the tripod. With any feeder, be it for pigs or bears, it's always the same. There is animals around the feeder, right immediately at the feeder, but also around 100 or 200 meters, like here. So you have to make your way through those. You can spook them, but if you spook them, you want to make sure they do not run to the feeder, or they will flush everything that's there. We can already see there's a bear with a decent size, around 400 kilograms. And the tripod is really good for protection. The clothes that I'm wearing, as you can see, they give no protection here in the open. You have to be in the forest. And when you sit on a tripod, it's not in the forest. And yet bears will not see you or detect you in any way until they are really close. So you can nicely observe the bears. There's many bears between 300 and 400 kilograms at the barrel, but they will not be top scores. So I would like to show you how you can shoot a bear from the barrel without causing the penalty. And I'm going to pick up all the tracks, and I will follow the one with it, which is the heaviest. Might be this one, there might be another one that was there before. And then I will follow that bear and show you how you can avoid the penalty. So again, I'm looking at all the tracks. If it's this new trail, I will pick it up and read. This is the one we saw. And otherwise, I will just cancel the reading like here. So again, looking at how many we can find. 3, 4, 5, between 5 and 8 bears, that's the average. I've seen up to 10, I believe, to remember. But that doesn't happen very often. And you rarely have less than 5 bears at the barrel. Especially on this one, 5 is actually the minimum. And I've counted 5 so far. I would think there's maybe a few more. But this one is still the heaviest. Is this where he was fleeing? Nope, that's where he came in. So here's the fleeing track. Okay, let's stop counting. We've seen 5. And if I extended the circle, I might see a couple more, but that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is I will chase the bear away from the feeder. And initially when the feeders were introduced, this would not cause a penalty if you shot the animals outside the range of the feeder. The attractiveness range is about 250 meters when it's at 100%. So I'm right now looking for the next fleeing track. So what was happening was that people were exploiting that. They would go to the feeder, chase away a big animal, and then shoot it when it was outside the attraction range, or the radius at which animals get attracted. Here is another one, but I'm still looking for my next track from the big one. So people would exploit that by chasing the animal away. And then what they did, they introduced a new status for the animal that when it gets baited, when it is close to the feeder, it gets the status as being baited. And as long as it keeps that status, you will get the penalty on the feeder. Now, when the animal walks away and leaves the range, it will lose that status, and you can shoot it outside the range. That's okay. You can even, once you realize pigs have stopped being attracted to a feeder, you can lure them away to speed up the process. You can shoot them outside the 250 meters. That's fine. But if you chase the animal away, it will keep that status, and that is to prevent that exploit. Now, somebody in the German forum posted very soon after this change that if you wait for 15 real-time minutes, the animal will have lost the status of being baited. So what I am doing now is I will chase the bear away from the feeder. I will mark the time, write down the time at 30 minutes of game time, which is 15 minutes of real time, and shoot it then, and the barrel will sustain the attractiveness of 100%. So I'm looking at the Hunter mate right now, and the barrel is still visible, but soon it'll disappear. That is now the case. Now it's 11:25 on the clock on the Hunter mate. So add 30 minutes to that. That is 11:55. I'm gonna put that into the chat so that I can remember it. I can look at it anytime. You can remember it. You can write it down on a piece of paper. Just remember that time. 11:55 is when I can shoot the bear, not sooner, or I might cause the penalty. Now I will chase the bear straight away I will run after the bear. I will not stop in order to make sure it's not going to return. I've seen before that when I started walking or crouching even, the bear turned around, walked back to the barrel, and I had to do it all over again because it was again tagged as baited. So I'm going to run for about 10 minutes straight, and then it'll be far away from the feeder. And from there I will start crouching, trying to catch up, trying to get a good sight at the bear, and then go for the shot, but not before 11:55. I've now been running for 10 minutes after the bear. It was 11:25 when the bear was leaving the attraction area. It's now 10:46, so that's a bit more than 10 minutes. And again, 15 minutes will be enough for the bear to lose that status of being baited. And from here, I'm actually going to crouch. This is where I've ran. This is where I chased the bear. There's an open area here now, and if you can time it, of course, if the bear runs in this direction, if you can time it, of course, it'll be easier to shoot the bear in the open area. So I will now crouch after the bear, let it calm down in front of me, catch up with it, and then shoot it, but not before 11:55. Of course, it helps here in this area if you have a good scope. I have the 12 times magnification scope with me for bears. That is really helpful. The reindeer in the area. Sometimes the bear takes a little turn. It doesn't make it always easy to find the next track. But even if you have to go backwards, I mean, that only gives the bear more chances to calm down. It'll be very alert if you come close. If it senses you, it'll run again for some time. So you can play this game for quite a while sometimes. So I want to be careful. There will be a couple more fleeing tracks before they will change to roaming. It's already 51 on the clock. So in 2 more real minutes, I will be able to shoot it. Red fox calling. Moose tracks. You can read other tracks as long as you find your next bear track, of course. So the bear has gone to, oh, it is running again. It has gone back to roaming, but it sensed me. It was very close. There it runs. So you can play this a couple of times here. The clock says 11:54. No, I don't have sight of it. But the next time I see it, of course, I can go for the shot. So this happens often if you crouch behind the bear. It turns around, it sees you, or it smells you, or it hears you come. The important thing is the bear has now lost its status as being baited. I can shoot it now without the penalty. At least the clothes should work in this area. So that's a little advantage for me. Now the bear is running up a hill. That's about the most difficult on a hill, because it's now over the hill somewhere and I don't know where it is. I could come too close again. But if you... there it runs again. It was facing me. It stopped, it turned around, it saw me. I was just going to say, if you're used to doing this, you know a little bit how to behave, but this happens a lot. The bear stops, starts walking in any direction, and it can detect you again. If it keeps going straight, and if you look at its back, that's not easy to shoot it. So that's not perfect either. So there's a little bit of one time you win, one time the bear wins. But I would say in average, I chase a bear a couple of times, 2-3 times before I finally get the shot to shoot it. Reindeer, that seems to be very close. Of course, what also can happen, there was a red fox in this area, so that might also have spooked the bear. You don't know that unless you see it. If the area isn't really good like this one, you might also consider just chasing the bear away from it. Because here among these trees, going up a hill, it's about the toughest area for getting a good shot. So here it's very close, and I'm thinking that might be another fleeing track there ahead of me. I couldn't see the bear, but it certainly sensed me. Yes, it's fleeing again. So the average of 3-4 times is about right. But if it's a good bear, that's certainly worth it. This one isn't great, but I just want to show you how you can do this. So oftentimes you're way over the clock here. Remember 11:55 was the time at which I could have shot it, and now it's way over that time, so not a problem for the penalty at all. Even at tracking level 20, you can lose the track sometimes. You have to walk around. The cone isn't always very accurate. There it is. And that was not a good angle, certainly. So hopefully I've hit one of the organs. Now at the time of recording this, there's a problem with the blood tracks and also the fleeing tracks. So it'll not tell me what I hit. Yeah, by the blood color, it should be an organ. So I can go pick up the beer, and my barrel is still intact. Of course, this is a little bit of effort with the 10 minutes chasing, the 5 minutes sneaking behind it. But if the beer is worth it, then that's fun doing. Now this one points backwards, but it certainly didn't run backwards. It's a weird running pattern here. It's zigzagging. So it keeps losing blood and it's still running, so it's pretty much intestines. The worst of the intestines is the stomach. If you hit that, you have to chase it for a while. Now this guy is giving me a really hard time here. Look at the zigzag on the hunter mate. There it is. And I'm guessing stomach. Let's see. Stomach and intestines. And there's our beer. And I'm going to go back to the launcher and check the attractiveness of my feeder. You have to believe me, that's what I'm doing right now. And it says 100. So if the feeder is full intact, the bear is down. Now, of course, baiting is only one method for finding bears. The other one is walking around or running around, look for tracks from heavy bears, and that's what I'm going to do. And as soon as I find tracks from a heavy bear, I will show you how you can stalk it and chase it down. I've been just walking around here, and here is a bear ahead of me, which is rather small. It's a small female, and see how close I can get to it. I was walking, now I'm crouching, and I can really go close. So there's a big difference between high scoring and low scoring animals. I can come really close here. Probably even shoot it with the bow. And of course you can't do that with a high scoring animal. They will sense you and run away. So it's really hard to bow shoot a high scoring bear. Hard shot at 30 meters. Okay, I will continue to look for a bear track from a big one. And just after the bear, we're looking at the moose here. Decent size, good looking antlers. Of course, easier with the good zoom scope, with the 12 times scope. He's not happy, he's shaking the head. And we'll back that instead. And continue to look for a bear. And here I'm finding a track that is rather close. The bear is rather close, 13 to 20 minutes. I might be already too close. I've been running around here, and I think I might have spooked the bear already. But I'm going to see if I can find it. What I wanted to show you is if you find a track that is oh, come on, just when I wanted to pick up the track, I got the call. Oh yeah, you can see the solid circle. I wanted to show you when you follow a bear how far you can run. But with this one, I'm pretty sure I spooked it already. That can happen, of course, as well, as you run around looking for tracks. This might as well happen. So I spooked it for sure. And it might have already ran outside of my rendering distance where I am right now. So I'm going to walk until I find the first fleeing track, because the challenge will be which direction did it run towards. And once I know the fleeing direction, I will crouch after it and again catch up with it and try and get it. Oh wow, this was really close. So I'm pretty sure the next tracks point towards west or even north. Because I've been running in circles here, I thought from the direction I came from, I might have gone north, but in this case it goes southwest. Whenever there's an open area, of course, look around. It even came backwards, but now it'll again run away. So sometimes you see fleeing tracks, but by the time you catch up with where the bear was, it had already calmed down and turned around or walked somewhere. So you can see fleeing tracks, roaming tracks, even coming backwards towards you. There's the bear. Let's look at the score, 26 to 28. Maybe I can get him from here. Oh, that's too funny. What is this? It's a lock. Okay, let's go for it. And of course, it just took a step when I shot. This is not going great. So I hit intestines again, maybe. Just when I shot, I took a step and I missed the lungs for sure. That was funny with the black lock there. So the worse you shoot, the more you run. If it was a hit in the liver, it would die much faster. If it's intestines or stomach, we'll have to run again for a couple of 100 meters. And I'm finally catching up to it. And here's our bear. Medium size. Just coming back to my barrel here after a hunt. So this is not at the beginning of a hunt. And I picked up a bear track already. This is number 2. This is number 3. Actually, I picked this one up before. So also, if you come here later, there will be bears around. And of course, I'm checking if there's any large ones. Number 5. 6. 7. So you can see the bears will come here, they will come and go, they're on and off. There's a lot of traffic around this barrel, even when I've been hunting already for a while. And again, I'm running into a nice heavy bear. Again, I cannot show how I would stalk it because it says the track is 2 to 9 minutes old. So this will of course be a good one to find or to shoot. And so I will be crouching after it. The maximum weight is 490. So any track that goes up to that weight is always a promise for a good score. When you look at the hunter mate, I'm going through a white area, which is a rather open area. Anything green is more with forest and trees. Anything brown will be really thick forests down in the valleys. So I'm hoping to be able to get a glimpse of that soon. There it is. Hopefully I can spot it. It's 27 to 29, so that's ideal. And I wasn't able to drop it, but hopefully I hit it at least once. That looks like a really big bear here. Now you would think that a herd bear will slow down, but it doesn't really. It keeps roaming at the same speed. It keeps fleeing at the same speed. So it came back at me after it had calmed down and then spooked again. I will go check out the blood track and then figure out from there if I need to continue crouching or if I can run after it. But this looks a really promising bear. There's not too many scoring 28 and above, even in a tournament where there's a lot of participants. And this one said 27 to 29, so let's go see what it was. The current tournament requires this 8x57 Anschütz rifle. But it's a decent rifle anyway. You can hunt bear with that at any time, especially with the selection of scopes, with the 12 times zoom scope. You can hunt bear just nicely with that. It's not my preferred weapon, but if I have to, it's perfectly fine. So again, currently the tracks are somewhat broken. I don't know what I hit. There is the bear. It was bedding, and now it's gonna run another 50 meters or even less, and then it'll die. So let's hope for a good score. It's a golden bear, and it scores 28. That's great. I'll take that. I continued looking for brown bears in Hemmeldal. At one point, I dropped a smaller female. At the shot, I saw a roe deer buck run away in the background. I went for a snapshot and hit it from over 90 meters away. When I picked it up, I could not believe the score that I saw there. It scored a whopping 263.137. This buck put me right on top of the season's leaderboard. But let's get back to the bears. Of course, everyone who likes to hunt brown bears needs to come to Val-des-Bois. There's many bears around the river and north of it. So I will run around and look for a big size bear. Here I find very nice tracks. 400 to 490 kilograms is the maximum estimation that you can get on the Hunter Mate. As far as the age of the track, I'm only really looking at the lower number. It says I'm 51 minutes away from the bear. Now every animal is different, but you can run after brown bears until this number is down to 30 minutes. I am now about 30 minutes away from the bear. I now switch to walking. My next indicator for changing speed will be a solid circle on the Hunter Mate. And here it is. A solid circle indicates that I have come close to the bear. From here I will only crouch. The brown bear has a very high roaming speed. If you can't seem to ever catch up, you can do the following. Get up and walk a few steps and then go back to crouching. Especially when the circle just got a bit wider again. If this still takes too long, there's another trick. Spook the bear ahead of you. This will bring it out of its roaming mode. Of course, a fleeing bear will gain quite some distance, but then it will calm down and stand around for a while. It is that pause that will allow you to finally catch up with it. In my case here, it is something else that allows me to finally get a hold of the bear. It had gone to sleep. A very short sleep though. Let's see if I can do a better shot than my previous ones in Hemmeldal. The spotting information did not suggest a very high score. But anyway, we got him. So much for my brown bear hunting. I hope you had fun watching. I hope you enjoyed, never got annoyed. Thank you very much. Stay in touch.